Before I begin, I'm back in my green tie, as I will be for the whole of this month. Today I'll be talking about Mantine, first water-flying Pokémon in Gen 2. Its previous PYC dates are October 9th, 1996, July 31st, 1999, May 21st, 2002, March 11th, 2005, December 31st, 2007, October 21st, 2010, August 11th, 2013, June 1st, 2016, March 23rd, 2019, and January 11th, 2022. I like Mantine's design and the idea of facing a Pokémon on a ray. I also love that Remoraid is such a big part of Mantine's identity that it's in its official art. The sprites in the first 3 generations, and Mantine's models in Pokemon Home. Anyway, you want me to talk about it, don't you? Yes, fine. I hate the official pronunciation of this Pokemon's name. It hurts me every time I have to say it. In the past, when I've been faced with an incorrect pronunciation, I've realized how I was wrong. I call Poliwag, Poliwag, because I didn't realize the ah sound, it wasn't an ah sound. Then there's Pokemon like the Nidoran line, where the n and the ni are so close, particularly if you say the names fast. I don't know of many that would jump to correct you. Chinchou is another case where I just naturally mispronounced the last syllable of its name based on the fact that I just didn't know how it was pronounced. I naturally say chew and not chow, but I've realized the actual way makes sense. I don't know why I ever pronounced Piloswine as Piloswine. I guess I never thought of the I sounding like I. In all these cases, the spelling has proven me wrong. However, suddenly, Mantine just doesn't follow the rules of making it clear how each are pronounced. If it is Mantine, it should be spelled T-E-E-N or T-E-N-E. I get that it's probably a portmanteau of manta and marine, and the English language is extremely convoluted, but before this, they've never cared about keeping it aligned with the English language spelling of the words. Coughing and Arbok are great examples of this. Each have a K, so you know it's not Soffing or Arbos. To say it's teen instead of tine is stupid, and I feel like it portrays Pokemon naming up to this point. Anyway, let's get into the Bulbapedia article, where I'll try my best to pronounce its name the official way. Hello and welcome to the Bulbapedia section of the video. Today we're talking about Mantine, the kite Pokemon whose number is 0226. This is what it looks like. Its type is Water Flying, abilities Swift Swim or Water Absorb. Water Veil is its hidden ability, gender ratio is 50-50, catch rate is 25 or 7.7%. Breeding is a Group Water 1, hatch time 25 cycles, height 6'11" or 2.1 meters, weight is 485 pounds. And 220 kilograms. Basic experience yield 168 in Gen 2 through 4, and 170 in 5+. Leveling rate is slow, EV yield is 2, in special defense. Shape is that, has no feet, so it has no footprint. Pokedex color is purple? Is this underside supposed to be purple? I mean, I know there's a version where the underside was purple, but it's definitely not purple anymore. I don't know if that's outdated. Base friendship is 70. Mantine is a dual-type water-flying Pokemon introduced in Gen 2. It evolves from Mantike when leveled up with a Remoraid in the party. Biology, Mantine is a large ray-like Pokemon. Its body is dark blue on the underside, and it has large wing-like fins with a black ring-shaped mark on the top of either fin, and a jagged outline on the front rim at the bottom. Its head has 2 long protrusions resembling horns or antennae, and 2 more black ring-shaped marks on the back. 2 pairs of gills are visible on its pinkish-gray underside, as well as a pair of beady eyes and a small mouth. Its body has a coarse texture. Mantine thrives in open seas where it swims freely, often in schools where they race one another. It can breach out of the water and fly 300 feet, 100 meters, into the air if it builds up enough speed. In the past, it was often misidentified as a bird Pokemon by observers who saw this behavior. Mantine is sometimes seen with a Remoraid attached to the underside of one of its fins, scavenging for leftovers and fighting together when attacked. Mantine has a docile nature and does not mind the Remoraid clinging onto its fin. Evolution, Mantine evolves from Mantike, so you've got Mantike and Mantine. Game data, Pokedex entries. In Gen 2 in Gold, as it majestically swims, it doesn't care if Remoraid attached to it for scavenging its leftovers. Silver, swimming freely in open seas, it may fly out of the water and over the waves if it builds up enough speed. Crystal, it swims along freely, eating things that swim into its mouth. Its whole body is very coarse. For Stadium 2, if you have Pokemon Red, Silver, Crystal inserted, you get the Gold entry, but if you have Pokemon Blue, Gold, or Yellow inserted, you get the Silver entry. In Gen 3, Ruby and Sapphire, on sunny days, schools of Mantine can be seen elegantly leaping over the sea's waves. This Pokemon is not bothered by the Remoraid that hitches rides. Emerald, on sunny days, schools of Mantine can be seen elegantly leaping over the waves. It is not bothered by the Remoraid that hitches rides. Fire Red is the Silver entry, Leaf Green is the Gold entry. In Gen 4, Diamond, when the waves are calm, one may encounter a swarm of Mantine swimming as if they are in flight. Pearl, it swims elegantly, mindless of Remoraid, hitching on its broad fins. It has a docile nature. Platinum, while elegantly swimming in the sea, it ignores Remoraid that cling to its fins, seeking food scraps. Heart Gold and Soul Silver, their Gold and Silver counterparts. In Gen 5, Black and White is basically the Platinum entry, but Remoraid is now the correct casing. Black 2 and White 2, if it builds up enough speed swimming, it can fly over 300 feet out of the water from the surface of the ocean. In Gen 6, X is the Black 2 and White 2 entry. Y is Black and White's entry. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are basically Ruby and Sapphires, but Mantine, Pokemon, and Remoraid are now all the correct casing. In Gen 7, Ultra Sun, postcards and posters featuring Mantine leaping elegantly above the waves are popular souvenirs of Alola. Ultra Moon, many people have taken up surfing because they admire how magnificently Mantine swims. In Gen 8, Sword, if it builds up enough speed, it can jump over the waves and glide over 300 feet. Shield is basically the Gold entries and Leaf Green's entry, but Remoraid is now the correct casing. Brilliant Diamond is basically its Diamond counterpart, but Mantine is now the correct casing. Shining Pearl is very similar to Pearls, but slightly different, so I'll read it. It swims elegantly, mindless of Remoraid, hitching onto its broad fins. It is naturally docile. Legends Arceus, this calm and gentle Pokemon swims gracefully through the sea. After building speed, it can leap out of the water. It is often misidentified as a bird Pokemon due to this behavior. Mantine in the Alola Pokedex and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Game locations, side game locations, and events. In Legends Arceus, normal. Sky Tumblestone, 35% of the time. Ball of Mud, 15% of the time. Great Items by level. Alpha East Candy M, 100% of the time. Seed of Mastery, 20% of the time. Great Items by level. Still don't know how the math works. Stats, base stats, will compare Gen 2 through 6 and Gen 7 onwards. HP 65, that went up to 85. Attack 40, that stays the same. Defense 70, that stays the same. Special attack 80, that stays the same. Special defense 140, that stays the same. Speed 70, that stays the same. So this one has a total of 465. This one has a total of 485. Pokeathlon stats. Type effectiveness, damage normally by normal, flying, poison, ghost, grass, psychic, ice, dragon, dark, and fairy. Weak to rock for double and electric for 4. Immune to ground, resistant to fighting, bug, steel, fire, water, all for half. Notes, if gravity is in effect, this Pokemon is given an Iron Ball or a Ring target or is affected by Smackdown or Ingrain. The effectiveness of ground-type moves is 1. So go from 0 to 1. If this Pokemon has Water Absorb, the effectiveness of Water-type moves is 0. So it'd be 0 instead of half. Learn set by leveling up the Sword and Shield and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, since you can hypothetically have a level 2 Mantine. I'll go down to level 12. 12 Water Pulse, 16 Wide Guard, 20 Agility, 24 Bubble Beam, 28 Headbutt, 32 Air Slash, 36 Aqua Ring, 40 Bounce, 44 Takedown, and 48 Hydro Bump. In Legends Arceus, same thing, so I will start with 5. So at level 5, it gets Bubble and masters it at 14. At level 9, it Aerial Ace and masters it at 18. At 15, it gets Water Pulse and masters it at 25. At 21, it gets Air Slash and masters it at 31. At level 29, it learns Roost and masters it at 40. At level 37, it learns Hydro Pump and masters it at 48. At 47, it learns Double Edge and masters it at 59. For by TM/TR, what I'm going to do is I'll read them in this article, but not the Mantine video. Sword and Shield. TM08, Hyper Beam, 9, Giga Impact, 21 Rest, 22 Rock Slide, 24 Snore, 25 Protect, 27 Icy Wind, 31 Attract, 33 Rain Dance, 35 Hail, 36 Whirlpool, 39 Facade, 40 Swift, 41 Helping Hand, 45 Drive, 48 Rock Tomb, 50 Bullet Seed, 52 Bounce, 54 Rock Blast, 55 Brine, 58 Assurance, 76 Round, 78 Acrobatics, 81 Bulldoze, and 95 Air Slash. TR, 0-1, Body Slam, 3 Hydro Pump, 4 Surf, 5 Ice Beam, 6 Blizzard, 10 Earthquake, 12 Agility, 16 Waterfall, 17 Amnesia, 20 Substitute, 26 Endure, 27 Sleep Talk, 59 Seed Bomb, 73 Gunk Shot, 74 Iron Head, 84 Scald, 89 Hurricane, 98 Liquidation, and 99 Body Press. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, TM3, Water Pulse, 7 Hail, 9 Bullet Seed, 13 Ice Beam, 14 Blizzard, 15 Hyper Beam, 17 Protect, 18 Rain Dance, 26 Earthquake, 32 Double Team, 39 Rock Tomb, 40 Aerial Ace, 42 Facade, 44 Rest, 45 Attract, 49 Scald, 51 Roost, 55 Brine, 58 Endure, 68 Giga Impact, 80 Rock Slide, 82 Sleep Talk, 83 Bulldoze, 87 Swagger, 90 Substitute, 95 Surf, 97 Defog, and 99 Waterfall. By breeding and Sword and Shield, same thing as the by TM, I'll read it in this article, but not in the Mantine video. Lapras gives you Confused Ray. This group gives you Haze, this group gives you Mirror Coat, this group gives you Slam, this group gives you Splash, Pelipper gives you Tailwind, and this group gives you Twister. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, this group gives you Amnesia, this group gives you Confused Ray, this group gives you Haze, this group gives you Hydro Pump, Corsola gives you Mirror Coat, this group gives you Slam, this group gives you Splash, Pelipper gives you Tailwind, this group gives you Twister, and Mantine gives you Wide Guard. By tutoring in Sword and Shield and Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, if you have the Sword and Shield expansion pass, you can get Dual Wing Beat. It's a physical flying type move. Its power is 40, accuracy 90, and PB has 10. In Legends Arceus, you can get Aerial Ace, Aqua Tail, Bulldoze, Giga Impact, Hyper Beam, Ice Beam, Icy Wind, Iron Head, Power Shift, Rest, Rock Slide, Swift, and Water Pulse. Nothing by prior evolution. By transfer from another generation, 3 through 7 you get Aerial Ace, 4 and 5 an event you get Air Cutter, 4 through 7 you get Aqua Tail, 2 through 7 you get Bubble, that doesn't work anymore, 4 you get Captivate, that doesn't work anymore, 6 and 7 you get Confide, 2 you get Curse, 4 and 7 you get Defog, 2 through 7 you get Double Team, 3 you get Double Edge, 2 through 7 you get Frustration and Hidden Power, neither work anymore, 3 you get Mimic, 3 through 7 you get Mud Sport, that doesn't work anymore, 2 through 4 you get Mud Slap, 4 you get Natural Gift, that doesn't work anymore, 2 through 7 you get Return, that doesn't work anymore, 3, 4, and 6 you get Secret Power, that doesn't work anymore, 4 through 7 you get Signal Beam, that doesn't work anymore, 4 you get String Shot, 2 through 7 you get Swagger, and Toxic, and 4 through 7 you get Water Sport, that doesn't work anymore. Side game data, you got all this. Okay. Yeah. Pokemon Ranger, the browser entry. Mantine leaps out of the water, then charges with its massive body. Shadows of Volmia. It swims leisurely, it rams to attack, Guardian Signs. It attacks by spitting bubbles that make Pokemon float. These. New Pokemon Snap in the Photodex entry. When Mantine swim as a school, they often race one another. Sometimes Mantine will build up so much speed it leaps right out of the water. Evolution data, Mantike. Level up with Remoraid in the party. Get Mantine. I guess you can breed this one holding Wave Incense from Gen 4 to 8. Sprites here, so see, kind of looked over these a little bit in the Remoraid video. We talked about those, and I'm not gonna bring those up again. You can watch the Remoraid video if you haven't already to get that more information, but we'll talk about the main Mantine here. Mantine, rather. Yes, so you can see how, you know, it starts off kind of, you know, much darker kind of version, then the shiny is a blue. You can kind of see eye spots on the back of its head. That's interesting. Yeah, you can see this one's purple for some reason. I'm not really sure why it is, but it is. Basically looks the same though. I think the tail might be a little bit different as well. You get the tail is a different color here. It's sort of blue. This is much kind of closer to the one we have now, and this is sort of this sort of darker. It's kind of lighter than the one it was in Gen 3, but you know, it's sort of dark blue, I guess. You got this blue, like 2 shades of blue for this one. The eye spots are now like this. They're not like white like they were. They're black and facing this way. Yep. Diamond and Pearl, not really much changes. It's maybe slightly different kind of pinkish color, I guess. And blue. But the big difference is it loses the Remoraid. Then we got this sort of in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. We got these kind of coloring, which I think might be closer to the modern one. Got this blue now, I guess. Yep, we got these. Oh, I guess it kind of goes back a little bit more to this kind of blue. It's a slightly different blue still. That's interesting. Then they kind of take this kind of coloring, the one from Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and this is just blue, which is kind of fun because it kind of resembles Mantike. Yep, pretty good models, I'd say. These are basically the same, only slight differences. Yeah. And Sword and Shield's much better models, of course. This game, you know, fully modeled, that's fun. Tail seems to be darker blue now. That's interesting. And it's kind of a gray on this one. Does it? It doesn't really distinguish them in the modern day, I guess. Then Homes, we get a distinction of the tail there. This is a really cool detail for the shiny here. You can see it's not just a shiny Mantine, it's also a shiny Remoraid. That's a kind of a cool detail, especially considering the fact that it didn't start off that way. You have these that are different colors, of course, but then it kind of stays the same one in Gen 3, which is interesting. Yeah. In animation, you got Mantine in Where Are You Going, Eevee, with an Eevee, I guess. Then we got a reoccurring Mantine there, yeah. We got a Mantine with a Remoraid attached in Pokemon series Ruby and Sapphire. Okay. Got all these, yeah. Pokedex entries in episode 214 in Ash's Pokedex. Mantine, the kite Pokemon. Mantine swims above the ocean majestically and may fly out of the water if it builds up enough speed. So you may notice that I didn't say Mantine there. That's because the anime at the time referred to it as Mantine, like I typically do. So I did it accurately for that anime era of the time. Anyway, Pokemon Twilight Wings, I guess. In the manga, you got a Mantine in Pokemon Adventures, and a bunch of Remoraid. That's interesting. Kind of looking like a plane, like a fighter plane, I guess. Interesting. Okay, got this. In the TCG trivia, in Generation E3, Mantine is unable to learn Rock Slide from tutors, but it can inherit it through breeding, so it's supposed to be in Gen 3. Despite the fact that Mantine evolved from Mantike in the presence of a Remoraid, Remoraid has not been present in any of Mantine's sprites in the core series games since Gen 4, in which this evolution method was introduced. This may be because the evolution does not consume the Remoraid, so the sprites are avoiding a continuity error or creation of a new Remoraid. Origin: Mantine's appearance and behavior of breaching the water surface is similar to a manta ray, a species belonging to the Mobula genus, also known as flying rays. It also has some kite-like aspects. Since Remoraid, a Pokemon based on a firearm, often attaches itself to the undersides of Mantine's wing-like fins, Mantine may also be based on a fighter plane. The circular pattern on its body and fins resemble roundels, common insignias on warplanes. Name origin: Mantine and Mantane may be a combination of manta and marine, brine, salt water, or tine, point on an implement, branch on a horn. In other languages, related articles, external links, let's move on. Now let's watch Mantine's first scene in the anime. Hello and welcome to the anime portion of the video. Today we are watching Pokémon the Movie 3, Spell of the Unknown Entei. In this film, Molly, a little girl, is playing with her dad in her bedroom before bed, and they're about to get a phone call on their computer. Or like a message on their computer. Yep. And there's the Mantine.
Another email. It must be Skylar again.
Yeah. Yeah. That is Mantine's first scene in the anime. Let's move on. Now let's talk about the TCG. I have one Mantine card. It's the first Mantine card design. It's also technically Remoraid's first Pokemon card design, as it predates Remoraid's first Pokemon card by about 9 months. It was illustrated by Ken Sugimori. It's just the official image on a photo background, which I'm pretty sure is showing the top of the water and the sky. So the perspective of Mantine doesn't make much sense. Perhaps the most notable thing is Remoraid, which hardly looks like a Remoraid. As we saw in the Bulbapedia section, none of the sprites ever really showed it properly. Only official images ever did. The first time in the TCG it appears correctly on a Mantine card is in 2004. Anyway, this Mantine has 60 HP. It's 6'11" and 485 pounds. Next to the weight is the Neo Genesis expansion symbol. It has one move, Undulate, which isn't a move in the video games. On this card, it costs 2 water energies and hits for 20 damage. The player also flips a coin. If they get heads, the opponent's next move will miss. It's weak to lightning for double damage, mirroring its weakness to electric, which is for ×4 damage. It's resistant to fighting for -30 damage. It costs 1 of any energy for Mantine to retreat. The description reads, swimming freely in open seas, it may fly out of the water and over the waves if it builds up enough speed. This is the Pokedex entry in Pokemon Silver, Fire Red, and Soul Silver, and one of the Pokedex entries in Pokemon Stadium 2. It's level 31. I have a Skarmory card, so we'll talk about it tomorrow. Now let's see why people love Mantine. Now let's look at fan art. Hello and welcome to the fan art section of the video. Nobody sent in fan art, so instead we're looking at DeviantArt fan art. For those of you who are familiar with the series, you might be wondering why we're on the single image, and that's because this is the only image we'll be doing today. This is Mantine by Aqua Blue. So you've got a Mantine here, surfing with a Remoraid and a Mantike above. When this Corsola is looking at them, another Corsola looking off frame here, probably talking to another Corsola. That's a really cool image. It's kind of fun as well, because we've talked about these 4 Pokemon over the last week, so that's kind of nice to see them again. Yep, that's it. Let's move on. Thanks to everyone who submitted fan art. I won't be streaming tonight as I need to wait until I've talked about Miltank to catch a Mantine. Tomorrow I'll be talking about Skarmory. As always, this is my proper outfit and I'll see you tomorrow.